See, look at this. Tracking Ida.
Good evening from New Orleans. I'm meteorologist Mike Seidel as we track Hurricane Ida. It is rapidly strengthening ahead of schedule based on yesterday's forecast and now forecast to come in as a major and very dangerous Category 4 hurricane.
Well, it's in Cuba right now. See that?
Along the coast of Louisiana.
Oh my
gosh.
So you know 130 miles an hour.
The plan right now, there may be some wobbles in the track, but right now it's supposed to come in near Vermilion Bay, Morgan City, Lafayette, Baton Rouge areas closer to the track will get the strongest winds. Here we're expecting wind gusts of at least 60 miles an hour, but the bigger concern is how much rain we're expecting and storm surge. Right up through the mouth of the Mississippi and Lake Bourne, we have a surge warning up to 7 to 11 feet. In Lake Pontchartrain, 4 to 1 million gallons per second. So it's at the pumps to help remediate that situation. Otherwise, EMS and the New Orleans Fire Department, they're staging boats and high water rescue vehicles in flood-prone areas around New Orleans, so they'll be ready for whatever comes at them on Sunday. With a heavy rainfall and the gusty wind. So that's in place. And neutral ground parking. This is where you can take your vehicle and park it on higher ground starting at noon Saturday in the city. Now, that doesn't mean you can block intersections or crosswalks. But if you can find a spot where it's a little bit higher, you can do that, and that'll take care of the risk of any kind of flash flooding where we get the tremendous amount of rainfall we're expecting back to that. So a lot of issues here. Even though we're not going to be right there at the landfall location and maybe not take the eye, it's going to be west. We're going to be on the east side of the storm, so this is not certainly going to be anything near a walk in the park for New Orleans as we get into Sunday and Sunday night and Monday morning.
Yeah, Mike and I want to make sure people in New Orleans don't discount the wind hazard, though. This could end up producing stronger winds there than Zeta did if the track is closer to the city. It's still possible, even though with the center coming ashore, let me zoom in on the cone.
Maybe become a Category 5.
Because this will help illustrate the point. So if the center were to go right down in the middle or the left side of the cone, that's one thing. But what if it goes down the middle or a little bit to the right? Even though it might be stronger when it comes ashore, say in that scenario, south of New Orleans, that could still bring a significant hurricane, maybe still a major hurricane, depending on how strong it is when it makes landfall, such that it is within the realm of possibility that New Orleans could experience the eastern eye wall. So that might not happen. I hope for your sake that it doesn't, but that is within the realm of possibility. So let's not let our guard down wind-wise in New Orleans. And you're under a hurricane warning, and again, you could, depending upon the track and intensity, end up getting at least as strong, maybe even stronger winds.
New Orleans is going to get raked by this thing.
The stronger it is when it comes ashore, and depending upon where it is, that will determine.
Fun fact, it's going to hit on the same day that Katrina hit, and it's going to be the same category.
A major hurricane. Remember Michael, stayed a hurricane quite a while after making landfall. And there are European ensemble track solutions that are all the way from the Louisiana-Mississippi border all the way to near the Texas.
It may become a Category 5. I believe it will.
With regard to the exact track,
it's going to strengthen
in both the Euro ensembles and in the GFS ensembles. They're clustered a little bit closer to the main track, but all of these, just about all of these main solutions from the GFS would put southeast Louisiana on the stronger side, the onshore flow side. And again, depending on how strong it is when it comes ashore, could bring tropical storm conditions as far north as near the Jackson, Mississippi metro. And with all the trees that could come down and the power outages, you've got to get ready for the winds. Now, taking a look quickly at what it's doing right now, it's between the Isle of Youth and the western main part of Cuba there. But look at how far to the northeast the tentacles of this storm are going. And while Key West is not going to get a tropical storm, you have gusted to 40, even 44 miles an hour. So you're feeling the presence of Ida. Wow, sure could be a lot worse, so you'll take it. But you're getting those squalls on the northeastern side. And that just is another example of how these are not just a point on the map, they're not just a line on a track. This is going to be a large, slow-moving major hurricane with wind and water extending well away from the center, Mike.
Tracking that first ever 18-4 lineup. Premium and capable. That's professional grade from GMC. When you order carry-out,
so I gave your birthday for free parking.
That's how I got this road. Now it's easy to help protect.
It looks a little bit too close to strengthen that fast before it makes landfall, like on Sunday. These people have one more day to prepare, and then it's boom. It's hurricane day.
Tonight, live coverage as we track Hurricane Ida. And hurricane warnings have just been issued for the Louisiana coast, and the storm gaining strength. And there's nothing in its way as it barrels towards the Gulf Coast. Projected now to be a major hurricane and landfall, state of emergency in effect in Louisiana, with storm surge levels expected to reach more than 12 feet. Coastal residents are now being urged to evacuate.
And Ida is on the fast track to the coast. That means the clock is ticking to get the supplies you need to protect yourself, your family, and your home. We're going to run through what should be on your hurricane checklist coming up right now on Weather Underground.
Hi everyone, welcome in. We're until 9 o'clock tonight here on Weather Underground as we track Hurricane Ida. I'm Mike Betts.
I'm Alex Wilson. That 5 p.m. advisory was issued last hour, and with that came hurricane warnings and storm surge warnings for parts of coastal Louisiana. That's where, Mike, we're looking at a major hurricane landfall.
Yeah, this, with the last advisory and the forecast at landfall at 140 miles per hour, I think that perked up a lot of ears and it got people's attention, right? Right now, 80-mile-per-hour winds is already rapidly intensifying in the last day. Northwest moon at 45 miles northwest of the Isle of Butte here. The thing is interacting a little bit with the western tip of Cuba at this point. Once it emerges back into the Gulf of Mexico, I think we're off to the races here. Forecast to rapidly intensify once again. Right now, hurricane warnings here in Cuba, tropical storm warnings in effect. We also have some pretty gusty winds in South Florida at this point. Now, the hurricane hunters are